Nelson,
Good gravy.
a radio host.
Found myself 2 million short of a millionaire.
Barely understandable.
Gee, Monetti.
We can rebuild him.
Guy's bright as a napkin.
We have the technology.
You gotta work with design, vision, and focus.
Better than he was before.
It's not lonely in my head.
Funnier.
I'm staring at a bowl of spaghetti trying to figure out which two ends come together.
More informative.
Characters defined by what you do once you screw up, not if you make mistakes along the way.
And just as sarcastic.
You sausage.
Oh, come on!
Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
KTLK AM 1150. This is Nelson. You're listening to Nelson Radio, and I am excited to have back in studio Cesi Pagano from Keller Williams. How you doing, Cesi?
Great. Thanks for having me.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and let me tell you, we're gonna break down what's happening throughout the business world, throughout the real estate world. Just people flat out being overwhelmed with all the chaos. There's economic influence. There's rising gas prices. There's cliffs everywhere we turn, and I think the general consumer is just that old pachinko ball game. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. Mm-hmm. The pachinko ball game?
No.
The ball's just scattering as it's crashing down. You've never heard of a pachinko ball game. There you go. So we're going to hit being overwhelmed head on. In our opening segment, Street Noise, we're going to dance across the Southland and get some relevant and current update information on what's taking place in the marketplace. We're going to be with Cesi and take a look at her business and specifically her alliance in the new home development community and just best practices with buyers and sellers. In this third segment, we have our real estate expert contributor from Century 21 Discovery, Thomas Wasnok, and he'll be with us taking a look at his business practice. And then we go to the Fame Coaches Corner with Coach Jim Harrick, talking to us about how he would lead us through feeling overwhelmed. And then we'll get to our reports on housing segment with Stephen Thomas and then round it off with some listener questions. So it's going to be a jam-packed, action-packed show. And to kick that off, I wanted to ask you, Cesi, on a couple of things that I saw.
Okay.
And one is there was a headline in the Wall Street Journal just this week, and the headline read, "The market is finally getting back to normal."
Well, I don't know if I would call it normal.
Well, and that's my question. I mean, is it normal? Because I don't get a sense of normal, everything just kind of plodding along. I really see in my eyes the general consumer just dancing from one side to the next, turning left, turning right.
It just has become a seller's market overnight practically. And I don't know I would call it normal. Normal is it's an even pace where a buyer can go into the marketplace and find a home. Right now, it's so competitive. It's very... the inventory is so low. I'm sure you've heard that many, many times in the last several months. But and prices are going up again. I think in more of a moderate pace than you saw in 2005 at its peak, but it's still on a rise.
I'm curious if people are feeling that way because it seems like there's so many that think that they're being left behind, that they're just simply left out, that all
Correct.
the homes have scooped up and there's no chance just for Ma and Pa America to get into the marketplace.
Yeah, a lot of people are giving up, but there's hope. If there's a will, there's a way. There's plenty. Considering the low inventory, there's always a way to find the right home for the right person.
And if you're on the sidelines, we want you to call us 888-888-2136, or you can go onto the web and reach us through nelsonradio.com. There was another headline, and it was talking about the luxury market, and Wall Street Journal again was talking about how luxury properties, they're stalled in the foreclosure process and not getting the same urgency of moving those properties through the foreclosure process than what you would see maybe just in the standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath kind of home.
Well, in general, that's correct. However, like any home, any diamond in the rough, it's going to move. If it's priced right, regardless if it's a starter home or a luxury home, if it's priced right and it has the right features that are the popular features everyone's looking for, it will move.
And it doesn't make any difference if it's an entry-level property or in that luxury category.
Exactly.
Because they were, and maybe this is the trend line that's established through 2012, but it went on to reference on how with a foreclosed property, obviously the carry for the bank is much heavier. The maintenance is more expensive. Property taxes are more expensive.
Correct.
Everything is, times 5. And so they were allowing certain homeowners just to ride the wave and maybe more inclined to go through a workout. I don't know. I got the sense that middle America was going, hey, what about me? As opposed to, what's commonly attacked out there, the high asset individual that is maybe treated differently.
Well, it's not necessarily just based on price. I think it's how much the investor who holds that note is in for and what their urgency is to unload that asset.
Just their exposure.
Exactly.
So it's just the dollars and cents. You're listening to Nelson Radio. I'm with my expert contributor and guest host, Cesi Pagano. We're in our Street Noise segment brought to you by our legal partner, the law office of Micheal Fell. If you do need any legal representation, you can text the word OCDUI to 313131 or call us direct at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Let's jump over to Phil Immel and get a read on what he's seeing in the marketplace. Phil Immel, how are you?
Doing great, Rob. How are you and the audience doing?
We're doing well. I'm here with Cesi Pagano, and we were just talking about how you break into the market. Multiple offers being made. Yours aren't being selected. The home buyer just turning to professionals like you and Cesi and asking the question, how do I get in? How do I buy?
Well, I think that, there's a lot of great real estate agents and realtors out there, but I think the best agents are starting to control the listing inventory more than I've seen in a decade. And by that, I mean, they should really, really be careful who they have represent them as a buyer's agent. Do a lot of research on the person, see how much production they do, because, for example, if Cesi and I were to do a deal, in fact, I called her on something last week. I had a client call on one of her leads off the internet, one of her listings, called her. She had, Cesi, I don't know how many multiple offers you had going at the time.
Yeah, tons.
But a lot, right?
Yeah.
And how many did you have?
I ended up with 12 on that one.
12 offers, yeah.
On the first day.
At $1.7 million sales price, roughly, right, or list price,
right,
in Aliso Viejo, which is, that's a high number for Aliso Viejo. But you, I presume, put it into escrow now.
Correct.
And, if I was John Doe Realtor out there and Superstar Cesi's got a listing on something and I call her, she's so busy processing all these offers, multiple offers, client connections, she may not have time to get back to me. But, if a name that she knows in trust and confidence says, what's going on, like Cesi did call me back, I felt privileged. But, I mean, you really, as a buyer, would need to seek out the top representation. It costs you no money to buy as a buyer, a consumer on a commission. A lot of people know that, but it's amazing how many people don't know that sometimes. So if you're not paying for the fee because that fee is paid by the seller, you should really research the credentials of your agent.
And I think that's interesting because, Cesi, you're used to, in a listing environment, being interviewed as a listing agent. Correct. And being selected from a variety of different agents. But is that now taking place with the buying agent?
Oh, absolutely. And it should be that way.
They're interviewing you to represent them.
Actually, it's a dual interview. We interview the buyer as well as they interview us, just like we interview the seller as well as they interview us, because we want to make sure that we can meet or exceed expectations.
We're going to be going into greater detail on this and giving you that kind of coaching so that you know that you should be out interviewing for the buyer's agent in your representation and to be dealing with those seasoned veterans that can be reputable in representing you and getting you into the marketplace. You're listening to Nelson Radio. You can reach us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. This segment brought to you by our legal partner, the law office of Micheal L. Fell. And you can reach Micheal by texting the word OCDUI to 313131. That's OCDUI to 313131. We'll be right back.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower costs. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DOI license 023501.
Welcome back. You're listening to Nelson Radio. I'm excited to be with our special guest host, Cesi Pagano with Keller Williams, and truly a resident expert, one of the top agents in all of Orange County. I can brag on it. You don't have to worry. This segment of our show brought to you by our sponsor, STA Charter Jets, charters to anywhere in the world. You can find out more by calling us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or going to nelsonradio.com. And we're just going to dive a little bit deeper here with Cesi on our marketplace, which is controlled pandemonium. I guess that's a fair description.
Okay.
Okay. It's crazy out there. And I want to,
is.
every agent on your side of the fence has these glittering generalities that describe their services. And they're the best of this and number one in that and premier and diamond and me as Joe consumer looks at everybody and they all seem credentialed. But I just wanted to shotgun some of the key areas that people sing the song on but really make a difference in who you are, Cesi. The first one is just ethical. How would you comment on ethics?
Well, ethics, it's primarily one of our main functions as a realtor. I mean, we're not salespeople necessarily out there just selling a shoebox. No offense if somebody sells shoeboxes, but it's real estate, it's real property. So you're licensed with the state and you want to carry your business as a true professional.
And the DRE, though, I mean, they're chasing after people that are manipulating different situations. And especially in this market, I'll share the story in terms of how sometimes those unscrupulous participants, they're offering under-the-table cash to get deals accepted. They're influencing this, influencing that. That kind of hocus pocus is going on, isn't it?
It's, you see that sometimes. But, of course, since we're talking about ethics, the ethical thing to do is do the right thing. And the right thing is to remember who you're representing. You're representing either the seller or the buyer, and you're representing with their best interest in mind.
So tell me about being experienced versus, let's say, a rookie agent. And what's the value of experience in being well-liked and well-connected in the industry?
Well, experience when it comes to negotiations, when it comes to how to predispose the buyer or the seller properly so they know just what's ahead, and also maximizing success in the transaction.
Mm-hmm. Cesi, this next one is a critical one. It's about being reputable. And I know from my industry, everyone claims this. Very few live up to it.
Right.
How's that benefit your customer?
Well, reputation is a key factor in a successful business, of course. Your reputation carries not just through your clients, but also through associates in the business, your colleagues, other realtors you work with,
And so those agents, if you've burnt bridges with them and they characterize you as a bull in a china shop,
right.
They're probably not going to give you as much attention or perhaps introduce new opportunities to you.
Well, right. I mean, keep in mind that it's a small business when it's all said and done, and you run into the same, realtors over and over, and you'll be doing multiple transactions with them in the future. So it's very critical that you don't burn bridges. It's, you take care of each other, and as competitive as it is, it's healthy competition, but yet it's not, it should not be a backstabbing
environment.
Yeah, right.
Let me ask you about this, and this to me is the most critical of all of these different glittering generalities, being proactive versus reactive. What's the value of proactive? And I love that because I know you do that in your business, but so few do.
Well, it's, again, you want to have a successful business, a successful transaction, take care of your client needs and look out for their best interests. And in order to provide that service, you want to make sure you predispose them up front. So that's a proactive approach. You want to make sure they understand what they're getting into, what the outcome could be, positive and negative. So that way there's less disappointment at the end. We're meeting expectations, or, of course, my preference is to exceed them.
Yeah, and that's the key word, is setting the right expectations. And
Correct.
This is something that we're coaching ourselves all the time on the lending side, of setting the right expectations for our customer, so that, okay, are we going to avoid every challenge on the lending side or every challenge in your world on the real estate side? No, but
Right.
they have a heads up that these kinds of things can happen. I'm with my special guest host, Cesi Pagano from Keller Williams, South County, an expert in the coastal communities. You're listening to Nelson Radio, along with our newest sponsor, STA Charter Jets, making sure their client doesn't lose time, money, or experience damaging delays, something that's running rampant in our industry right now. Find out more about STA Jets or Nelson Radio. Call us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or go to our website, nelsonradio.com. I wanted to change gears here and go towards the new building industry, the new development. And this is a segment of business that a lot of agents don't participate with. And
Correct.
it came from your roots. You started, I think,
I
in the
did.
industry in the new home side. Mm-hmm. What'd you do?
Well, since childhood, my parents were builders. So been exposed to that industry my entire life. So as an adult, you can say, I sold new homes for many, many home builders, reputable home builders.
And now that you're on the resale side of things, how do you work with the building community now?
Well, I'm a consultant for a lot of home builders. I assist them with their contingency programs when their home buyers are wanting to pursue a new home,
Right.
and they have a contingency.
So you'll take on their listing,
Correct.
and that'll facilitate the purchase of their new home in whatever subdivision.
And since I'm experienced in new home sales, I help them make that transition seamless, because I can kind of coach them through that process, and makes it easier for the home builder as well, because their sales associates know that I'm there to guide that client. So it's again, like I said earlier, seamless.
And you've been on that side of the fence, so
Exactly.
this is very natural for you. Giving them counsel on where to price, market studies, and so forth. That's also a role that you play with the development community.
Exactly. Yeah. They rely on the resale market to stay competitive in the marketplace. So they seek our expertise in marketing conditions.
One thing that is a tremendous benefit, and every seller's in the same category, they want to maximize their sale price, get as much money as possible, but it's especially critical in the new home purchase, because my experience in doing new home financing, it's where I started in my career, is that people buy the new home, they're excited, and then they move in, and they've got the cost of drapes. Nobody wants to move in with old furniture. There's landscaping, flooring, window coverings, on and on it goes. So you taking on that listing, you have a very defined role to try and drive that sales price for the contingent buyers as high as possible.
Right.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. Stay with us. We've got Thomas Wasnok. Cesi and I are going to be shotgunning questions at Thomas, understanding a little bit about the North Orange County market. This segment brought to you by Nelson Radio's newest show sponsor, STA Charter Jets. You can reach us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We'll be right back with Thomas.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower costs. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DOI license 0235301.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations and MLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and it's important to understand the swath of damage caused by the mortgage meltdown. Obviously, there was poor lending practices leading into, but now there's poor customer service coming out of. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Envoy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can go down if the market improves. Purchase closings in as little as 2 weeks. Refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. And close-on-time guarantees. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from a mortgage lender. Accountability from your lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or on the web at strongcreditrewards.com.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With TITLE365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red. The arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce Orange County to the law office of Micheal L. Fell. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction and record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-585-9055. That's 949-585-9055, or text the letters OCDUI to 313131 for the law office of Micheal L. Fell. Welcome back. You're listening to Nelson Radio. I'm Nelson, and I'm with my special guest host, Cesi Pagano, returning to us, giving us wise counsel from Keller Williams in the South County, and also a resident expert in those coastal communities. And I wanted to introduce Thomas Wasnok from Century 21 Discovery. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured. They brought us up here. We arrived early. What a comfortable drive. It was easy. Great service. If you need limousine transportation services, text the word limo to 313131. And we also want your comments and questions from today's show. You can give Cesi or I a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or connect to us on the web at nelsonradio.com. So, Thomas, welcome to the show.
Hi, Tom.
Thank you very much. Pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, glad to have you here. And Cesi and I wanted to look at your market. You're primarily up in the North Orange County market and in the estate segment.
Correct.
And so many people think of the estate properties, the luxury properties that are along the beach and whatnot, but North Orange County has plenty of luxury and estate properties.
Absolutely.
And so what do you find in terms of sales prices? Are prices pushing up on these estates?
Prices are definitely coming up steady. We're faced with right now with lack of inventory. But no, prices are coming up.
And the lack of inventory, it's a problem that's throughout the state of California. And this is something that we're going to ask on in our later segment. But asking the question, is there still an inventory with lenders that hasn't been released? And it seems pretty divided answers to that. As I canvass the marketplace, some people say, no, the inventory's gone. There is no shadow inventory. And others are absolutely steadfast that there's hundreds of thousands of properties that haven't been released.
For the past probably 2 or 3 years, I've heard the same thing. We still haven't seen it, and they still say we expect it, but we haven't seen it yet.
So tell us a little bit about your business practice. I mean, obviously, you do you toe the line in terms of working with integrity, working with efficiency. But Correct. One thing that I saw as we were riding up here in terms of good old-fashioned door knocking.
Absolutely. And again, going back to not having the inventory, I actually will go find it. I do have, being a listing agent and a buyer's agent, I do door knock for my buyers, which until it gets me the sellers. But I do have a few recent ones that I've actually door knocked and actually satisfied both buyer and seller. Very happy.
What's that really like? I mean, I don't do that, obviously, but I've often wondered, you're going neighborhood, street by street, door to door, literally. Are people friendly, welcoming? Are they loading the shotgun when they see you walking up the sidewalk?
I've only heard one shotgun. No, I was kidding. I love it. I think that's my specialty, door knocking. I haven't had anybody actually come after me. A lot of open arms. I've been invited in, cup of coffee, if you want to see my house, etc., and landed a listing. So it really, truly works.
In today's marketplace, without the inventory, how else can you find properties?
My only way is the actual door knocking or advertising. Yeah. I do some advertising, but a lot of it's, by foot. I love the old-fashioned face recognition.
There's other challenges in our industry, and one of them is clearly the lending community. I don't want to bash my own marketplace, but Cesi, do you wrestle with lenders?
Well, yeah, it is a challenge because we see that there is still lenders that are not as experienced in packaging the loan completely up front, I would say. And do you see that too, Thomas, in your...
All the time, and I do, yeah.
And that's the biggest problem. You were talking about how you prep your buyers so that they have the right set of expectations, and it's really no different in the lending industry. There's nobody can get around today's lending process. It's complex. It's compliance heavy.
Complex.
And our theme is to get the questions answered before they're asked, so that we don't have this hurry up and wait kind of process.
Right.
And
you have to anticipate what the underwriter is going to ask for. Correct.
Correct. And it's in that anticipation where you're telling the story as well, so that just like you have to present your buyer's highest and best, we do the same thing in the mortgage industry in terms of presenting those strengths, underscoring why this is a sound decision, and then having that supporting documentation in place. I think in our industry, not to bash on the young bucks that are coming up, but so many of them are undertrained. And I even look back to when I started in the industry, it was somebody that handed me a stack of cards and said, go get them. The world's your oyster kind of a thing. I didn't know what I was doing then. So do you have the same issues in dealing with the lending community?
I do. A lot of right now, getting the initial lender approval is simple, but getting towards the end with the final underwriting has been a challenge. And it could be anything from curing a few things on the home to curing a few things on the buyer side.
So let me ask you both this question, because you, when you receive offers, now that you, let's say, are on the listing side, and those offers all come with that pre-approval statement or pre-qualification letter, is there any merit in those, or do you go, all right, hold on, now we got to start digging?
Within the first day, if once we had the acceptance from the seller, I call the lender the next day, and I personally speak to their loan officer to just get a better feel for the seriousness of the approval. And sometimes I need to dig further or get a second lender for backup.
Is that a standard practice of having a second lender look at all of these?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, every single time.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that, but I guess that's today's reality. It's the only way you can ferret out what's going to actually take place.
Not on all lenders. I'm just backing up a little bit. Not on all lenders. It's a comfort level.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new lenders out there.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time limousine transportation services worldwide. You can reach us direct at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. I wanted to throw one more question here in this segment, and that is the volume of renters. As we came out of the Great Recession, or coming out of the Great Recession, there's so many people that lost their homes, moved into the renter market. Are they going to stay put as renters, or are they going to come back into the marketplace?
They're going to come back. It just depends on which area they had gone through, whether it's foreclosure or short sale. Everyone I'm helping right now that went through short sale, they know the date of the month that they're going to buy, and I'll be there. But yeah, they're not going to stay put.
And so there's clearly that motivation to own again, because you look on the renter side of the fence, and that is simply people that are now going, gosh, I don't have to worry about something that broke. I don't have to worry about maintaining this. I just make a phone call and it's fixed for me. There's some certain attributes, but your message is they're coming back in.
It's the American dream. It's everybody wants to be a homeowner, and it was some difficult times for a lot of people, and they will be back.
Thomas Wasnok from Century 21 Discovery, focusing his attention out in North County and also moving into the coastal areas in Newport Beach. You can reach us direct at 888-888-2136. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Text the word limo to 313131, and we're going to come right back, attack some of the headlines, and also the famed Coach Harrick is going to be with us in Coach's Corner.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778, and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778, or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DOI license number 0235301.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With TITLE365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working working on your real estate transaction so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about TITLE365 or visit TITLE365.com. Mystery solved.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations and MLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and it's important to understand the swath of damage caused by the mortgage meltdown. Obviously, there was poor lending practices leading into, but now there's poor customer service coming out of. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Envoy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can go down if the market improves. Purchase closings in as little as 2 weeks. Refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. And close-on-time guarantees. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from a mortgage lender. Accountability from your lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or on the web at strongcreditrewards.com.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Welcome back to Nelson Radio on KTLK AM 1150. I'm with my special guest host, Cesi Pagano, with Keller Williams in South County. And we're about to move into our Coach's Corner. This segment brought to you by TITLE365. You can reach us direct at 888-888-2136, or you can text my name. How about that? Text my name, Nelson, to 313131, or go on the web to nelsonradio.com. We've got Coach's Corner and Coach Jim Harrick. Coach, are you with us?
I'm with you, Robbie. How you guys doing?
We're rocking over here. We were talking as we were coming up to the studio today, and we were just looking at the general state of affairs for our consumer, whether it's in business or on court or on the golf course where you're just driving home from. But that sense that people are overwhelmed, you know, where that deer in headlights look. What do you do with that?
Well, I hope it's not everything financially overwhelmed. That's the thing that you worry about. But I've always worried about being overwhelmed. And I never want to ever talk about winning or losing or coming out ahead or behind. I always talk about, hey, I gave the best effort I could possibly give. Do the very best you can. And if you can do the very best you can, then you got to take the consequences, because not every shot's a home run, not every one's going in, not every real estate deal's going to work. Hopefully you don't get fleeced in the deal, and you're smart enough that you can control that. But being overwhelmed financially, then that's where you got to strap your belt on and start making some cuts. And most of us live over our means anyway, except you, the money you make. But
so let me ask you, Tyus Edney, you call the play. He knows he's getting the ball. He's got 4.6 seconds left. Is he scared out of his wits, or is he saying, give me the ball, let me score?
You know what, Robbie? It goes back to everything that you and I have talked about on the radio. We ran that play once a week for 18 weeks. We ran it in practice once a week, and he's the only guy that could do it. Nobody else could do it. Well, I knew he could do it. The players knew he could do it. He knew he could do it. And I tell you, just a little guy, and he was in there the next couple games. We had Big Country Reeves, and we played Mississippi State with their big guy. And 4 years, nobody ever blocked his shot. And all our players and coaches knew that. So we had the utmost confidence. Now, we didn't know how. Robbie, everything is practice, plan, prepared, and performance.
That's exactly it. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate the wise counsel as always.
Buddy, nice talking.
Nice talking to you. So, Cesi, I think the bottom line message is what we were talking in our last segment, being prepared. Whether
Correct.
that's on the lending side or preparing the buyers for what it's like to enter into this market.
Exactly.
You've got to be prepared.
Yeah. Well, like Thomas was mentioning earlier about contacting the lender and verifying the qualifications of the buyer, that's very crucial. I think Thomas, you're a little nicer than I am. I usually like to beat them up a little more than that because...
Do you hold their feet to the fire?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that they truly have gone through that process. You want to verify that they actually have run the credit and have had exchange of documentation and financials with that borrower. Otherwise, you could be up for a surprise at the end of the day.
Correct.
And even before you accept an offer, you want to make sure that you're accepting the right offer.
And here's the irony of it is that every lender has their checklist of documentation that they're required to get. So many today, for you mentioned financial statements, so many today will get those financial statements and check the box. Got it. Got 2 years tax. They didn't read the ding-dang documents.
They have to review them and do the due diligence, of course.
And so you ask them that specific question. Have you done the financial state analysis? Do we have qualifications from debt ratios? Are there this? Are there that? You're going through very much what an underwriter would review, but you're shotgunning those kinds of questions.
Correct. And like Thomas said, if it's a reputable lender that you know has that practice already in their everyday
repertoire.
Thank you. Then of course it's easier to trust that particular lender. But if somebody you don't know, you want to make sure that somebody you do trust is double checking that information.
I'm with Cesi Pagano from Keller Williams, South Counties, and also Thomas Wasnok from Century 21 Discovery. We're going to hit a couple of headlines here, and I just want to get both your reactions to some of these things. Some of this is crazy stuff. Get this. This is out of the really category. Landlord shoots tenant in rent dispute.
Oh my goodness.
It actually happened. I don't know. Can things get out of control between a landlord and tenant?
Anything can happen. I mean, that's just kind of, it might be an isolated incident, but...
In your property management, you're not carrying, are you? That's that deer in headlights look that I was looking for. So let me ask you a serious question. On Prop 13, our tax, what establishes our property tax basis, there's plenty of discussion that may be changed and people will lose that property tax protection. Is that going to happen?
I certainly hope not. It's going to affect a lot of people. Just hope it doesn't.
I mean, when you say it's going to impact a lot of people, here's how I break it down, Cesi, in terms of we have income tax that's increasing.
Correct.
Property taxes now at risk in terms of having more increases. Where's the money coming from? We're all paying, $4.50 a gallon. Where's the money coming from? What do we see out there?
That's going to be the issue. I mean, that's going to be the true issue. The 1.1% already, for the people that are not paying right now through Prop 13, they've been in their house for many years, and a lot of them are retired.
Let me throw one more question at you, and this is with technology, mobile apps, and how they help the buyer find a new home or get in the way. There's so many out there, so many resources. Is it helping or hurting?
Actually, I think it helps. Century 21 we have our own app for the buyer, and it takes a little load off of us, but I'm very involved. And I like to see what they're looking at. But at the same time, it does take a little, they love to be more involved in the transaction.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. We're just looking at a couple of headlines. You can reach us direct at 888-888-2136. We're going to be moving into our next segment, Stump the Experts. We're going to see if we can stump Cesi here. 888-888-2136 or go to nelsonradio.com. We'll be back in just a minute.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations and MLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and it's important to understand the swath of damage caused by the mortgage meltdown. Obviously, there was poor lending practices leading into, but now there's poor customer service coming out of. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Envoy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can go down if the market improves. Purchase closings in as little as 2 weeks. Refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. And close-on-time guarantees. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from a mortgage lender. Accountability from your lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or on the web at strongcreditrewards.com. This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red. The arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce Orange County to the law office of Micheal L. Fell. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction and record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-585-9055. That's 949-585-9055, or text the letters OCDUI to 313131 for the law office of Micheal L. Fell.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With TITLE365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower costs. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778, or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DOI license number 0235301.
You're back with Nelson Radio. I'm Nelson, and I'm with my special guest host, Cesi Pagano. We're moving into our Stump the Experts and fielding some listener questions. This segment brought to you by our exclusive mortgage offer, a close-on-time guarantee. How do you like that? A lender that'll actually stand behind their work. Close-on-time guarantee. Finally, accountability from your lender. You can reach us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. So let me throw these questions at you. This first question came to us. It says, I suck at investing. In real estate, I purchased at the peak and sold at below the valley floor. I want to buy back in today's real estate market, but how can I feel confident that now is really a good time?
I think it comes down to the strength of financial strength of that buyer, because when you buy an investment property, you have to be prepared to hold on to it. Don't sell it in a panic. Don't buy it to sell it in a couple of years necessarily. You have to be able to prepare, or you have to prepare yourself to hold on to it for as long as you can. And then when you see the opportunity to sell it, it can make you money, or trade it up, or exchange it as a 1031 exchange, whichever way you go. That's when you make your move.
Do you have examples of where you actually coach your buyers down into a lower price, thinking that they're just getting too far over their skis?
What do you mean a program?
Well, not a program, but I mean just coaching them, saying, hey, listen, you're interested in that 550 property, and it is at the top of your ability to buy. Maybe we should focus on something around 500 and have a little bit of cushion, so they're not reaching behind the couch cushions for their house payment.
Yeah, because a lot of times they'll rely on just basically what their qualifications are on paper, which is fine. But the lender, although they're more thorough these days in checking all their financials, they do forget about their typical lifestyle that they like to pursue. So it's important that you bring them down to reality and coach them onto what's important to them and why they're buying it and what their intentions are with it.
So we touched on this in one of the previous segments, but I want to hit this question right to you. Half the media reports that short sale opportunity is declining. The other half still represents that there's a huge glut of bank-owned properties that haven't been released. What's your opinion, Cesi?
Something to keep in mind is a lot of people are thinking that the banks are holding on to their assets on purpose. They're not. It costs them money to hold on to assets. And keep in mind also that many of these banks have investors behind these assets, and they're not going to allow the banks who are representing or servicing the loans for them to just hold on to them. They are doing what they're supposed to do, which is try to let the homeowners stay as long as they can, try to work it out with them. And if it doesn't work, then obviously they move on to plan B.
All right. So let me throw one more at you. This question came at us. It says, everyone is telling me I'm not adequately saving for my retirement. HARP financing is a farce. My modification was declined. I make too much money for the HARP program. I have 3 kids in college. I'm paying $4.23 a gallon. I'm fighting for my life. What do I do? Should I short sell my property and just start over?
It's not a black and white answer. I think it just comes down to, is there a way to restructure their finances? They need to be talking to a financial advisor and see what can save them and help them keep their home. And if their goal is not to keep it, then of course, also they have to consult with a CPA and see what their tax ramifications may be. There's a lot of homework you need to do before you give them an answer.
And I think what I hear is that you actually act on it. It's not the old ostrich theory of head down in the sand, butt up in the air, hoping it all goes away.
Exactly.
You need to take action and find out what to do.
Right. You have to be educated so you make the right decision.
The expert was not stumped. Cesi Pagano with Keller Williams, South County. This is the Stump the Expert segment brought to you by Envoy Mortgage. Close on time guarantees. You can reach us direct at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We're going to shift gears here as we go to the closing of our program, and I wanted to bring on air Little Man Nelson.
How's it going, Dad?
That's perfect. Now, Little Man has been down to Tanzania, has been in the orphanages. We've been drawing attention in the past few weeks to Treasures of Africa, and I wanted Tate to share with us their project right now, what they're focused on.
So with the money that's being fundraised for Treasures of Africa, they want to build another home that they have 50 orphans now, and they want a home that can house up to 120. And so the first task that they need to accomplish, they already have the property. They already have the well for water for building the site, but they need money for the housing, money for places to stay, and for all the accommodations that are needed for living in there.
And we talked about Little Maria as one example of a young girl all these kids, Swahili's their native language, but they're being taught English. They're being brought up as leaders that can make a difference in the community, come back and change the environment. And this particular project, it sounds like a big ask when I talk about it now. $2 million, but what $2 million does in Moshi, Tanzania is build the lodging for 126 kids, housing for the staff members, a school, a dispensary for medical needs. It's an unbelievable project for that money.
Yeah, and also with the money that's being raised, it's going to be funded on solar energy, which will help out, for the future. And so it'll also establish cheap energy in the long run and provide energy for the whole entire property.
Makes sense. Take a serious look at treasuresofafrica.org. They're a fabulous organization. They are making a difference, and certainly your contribution, whether it's $1 or $2 million of them, it would have a huge impact on a community and help people rebuild a very impoverished area.
Yeah, and provide a future for the orphans that are in there.
Exactly. And these children are precious, let me tell you. That's treasuresofafrica.org. It's been a great show. We've hit what to do when you're being overwhelmed, and certainly our marketplace is complex and can certainly cause that feeling. Coach Jim Harrick led the way there. Our special thanks to Nelson Radio's special guest host, Cesi Pagano from Keller Williams in South Counties, and also our expert contributor, Thomas Wasnok from Century 21 Discovery. Thank you both for being with us. Next week,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you.
And of course, our producer, systematic, sarcastic, and hypnopompic. How do you like that for a description? What? Hypnopompic. You'll have to look that up. Phil Giangrun holding this show together. Give us a shout. You can reach us at 888-888-2136. We want your questions and comments, and we will give you black and white opinion. No shades of gray. You can reach us direct at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Thanks for listening to Nelson Radio. 888-888-2136, or text my name, Nelson, to 313131. We'll talk to you next week.